So Neil Cross from TFI CAD and Technology for Industry, it's a YouTube channel, and he posted this challenge. And I'm going to quickly demonstrate how to do this in ZW3D. So create a new file. And I could basically design this very similar to Autodesk Inventor and use sketches, but I'm going to try to use as few sketches as I can and use the primitives here in ZW3D. So the first thing was I'm going to create a box. I think the dimension here was 150, and this was 100, and it was 0.5 millimeters thick. I'm going to create another box, and that is 130 times 80, and this extrusion goes to this point here. That was incorrect. Let me do that again. Snap at this point, and then I'm going to subtract that, and I'm left with this frame. So now I'm going to quickly create my one and only sketch on this face, and I'm going to right click and project this and this line into that sketch, and then I'm going to go and pattern this, and that will basically be my pattern. Define the direction, and that will basically my pattern for the grid structure inside of this object. So I think that was 6.5 millimeter of spacing, and I'm just going to click into this field and scroll my mouse wheel, and I think that's the correct number of instances. Just going to window select those, right click, and change those from construction lines into real lines. And then I'm going to pattern again, but delete the direction and pick this as the direction, and I think that was 8 millimeter, and we need fewer instances, so I'm just going to roll my mouse wheel and accept that, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I window select a number of them and then right click and change those into real lines. So that's that sketch. So now I'm going to just simply go ahead and apply the fillet here on the outside corner, and that was a 7.5 millimeter fillet, 7.5, and middle mouse click to bring up the last used tool, click on the inside edges in succession and add those to that list here, and that was 4 millimeters if I remember that correctly. If I don't remember that correctly, it's not really that important. I'm just going to try to show the workflow here. And again, our datum plane that everything starts from is this one here. And now I'm just going to simply go into freeform and offset, and I'm going to surface offset. I hold the shift key while I click on that one face, and that chain selects the complete surface loop, if you will, and offset by -1, and that's what I want. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the split with faces tool. I select this face and this face, and as the splitting tool I select that offset surface and click OK. So back into that shape ribbon, and I'm going to create a face offset, and I think that was 1 millimeter to the top, and middle mouse click, and I think that was 1.5 millimeter to the bottom. Okay, we got that covered, and now we're quickly going to use the where is it? The ribbon network. There it is. So I can click on it, and it needs to be thickened to 1 millimeter. because they were 1 millimeter wide, and the start of the end surface is basically, the end face is this, and it's minus 2 millimeters deep, if I remember that correctly. Okay, it takes a moment to calculate, and there is our base structure. The one thing that I cannot forget is that little chamfer. Again, shift click to select the chain loop of edges, 0.5 millimeter, and there's our chamfer. And now here's the actual power tool. I'm in shape, and I have a cylindrical bend, but I also have a toroidal bend, and that's really the tool of choice. So I select the shape that I want to actually bend, and I select the datum. I could select this face, but I can also select that origin plane or datum point, and we can see that's a torus. So we need to rotate that 90 degrees to get that correct bend, and we need to flip the side, and we can already see that starts taking the shape of our object. So the tube radius or minor radius is 200 millimeters, and the large radius is 300 millimeters. All right, and okay, and there's our object. And if I look at it from the side, those define a segment of an arc, basically. So again, this is a toroidal bend. So this is how you design this object in ZW3D.